Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of Birds vs. Boys as we look forward to week 6 in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the Detroit Lions, and I have absolutely no idea who the Philadelphia Eagles are playing, but they're back to playing football off of the bye, off of their horrendous loss against the Tampa Bay Rays, and now they're just here with the Phillies on the brink of elimination saying, okay, nobody's paying, going to slip in, we're going to cut Devin White, and then we're going to go smash whoever we're playing. How are you, Aiden?
Cleveland Browns. And
oh, God.
Exactly. So great. That strategy does line up. Football wise, definitely feeling a lot more refreshed. Perfect time for the bye week. I feel refreshed. I hope the team feels refreshed injury wise, and we'll get into it. But there's some things with the team. It was a perfect time for the bye week because I think we have some moves coming within the roster internally that are exciting and came at a good time after a month worth of football.
Mm-hmm. And after a month worth of football, we both need coffee while we're recording this. And I will tell everybody, I know Aiden is maturing because when we started this show 4 years ago or so, Aiden was taking caffeine pills, never had a sip of coffee. Welcome to the dark side, Aiden. Now he has a French press, and we had to press pause on recording for 10 minutes while his French press finished. So welcome to adulthood, Aiden.
You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. I miss my caffeine pills every single day. What a time in life.
It is. It's a beautiful time.
Just a capsule of 200 milligrams of caffeine, done. Now I'm evening out water and coffee grounds. I just that kind of leads into my conversation and drinking a gallon of water every day. Well, you should do that even when you're young. But this led into my thing last week where I was like, I'm old because I'm getting tired of the antics. I have a new thing to add to that. I am continuing to be like a boomer, old white guy radio caller, and college football might kill me. And it's in the NFL too. I've seen like 5 or 6 penalties where a kid pulls an imaginary gun out and shoots their opponent. And it's an automatic 15-yard penalty. And every time it happens, I personally lose my mind. I think I'm getting old because it's driving me insane. And the kid from Alabama who threw the full temper tantrum and kicked the ball and shoved his opponent and threw his mouth guard, if he plays this week, I'm going to lose all faith in humanity in college football. That's all I got.
Did you see the video that the dude who he like locked it up and then took the gun out and shot him in the back? They were down like 17 with and it was like one play. Did you see Pat McAfee? He was like, put it on the highlight. Like they were showing the video live, and AJ Hawk was like, oh, like that was the first time he saw it. He's like, what?
Kevin, he pulled an imaginary gun out of an imaginary holster and execution style shot the wide receiver down 17 points in the fourth quarter. What are these kids doing? Who have I become? These
Drake London
snappers are going to kill me.
Drake London almost lost the game against you guys for his in the air shooting. And then Raheem Morris afterwards is like, he's such a great guy. I think he was probably just pretending to be shooting T-shirts into the crowd because that's the type of guy he was. I'm like, okay,
he was shooting an assault rifle.
I don't get it.
Me. I mean, that kid from Alabama, if he gets drafted by the Eagles, I wouldn't watch. I'd complain about him every week. I can't believe I've become this, but I think these kids are making me that way.
Welcome. And I think it all somehow, some way, Aiden, leads back to podcast or evil on a podcast.
Yes. Now, there are good things. Sorry I got a sidetrack so early. I just need to bring
Remember
that
when
up.
players used to just beat the shit out of each other in the good old days in the 90s?
I like that. I miss that. I miss that so much. I think, listen, the Lions this year are obviously in both of our way. Maybe that's a good segue to our game. They give me hope because I feel like that team's a lot of no nonsense beyond just a Dan Campbell bite your kneecap stuff. Like I like the way that they run their offense. It's they got flash with Jameis Williams and the speed. They got 2 running backs. Man, they just sometimes line it up and they're like, all right, we're running it right here.
You mean like when they went to an overtime game this year and they ran it 9 straight times right down the throat to win the game.
That was my favorite football game of the year, and it came in week 1. It was like they ran it every single play in overtime. Like, we know you can't stop it. We know you're tired. We know our offensive line is better. On the opposite side, to get themselves in the overtime, the Rams were like, you can't cover Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua got hurt. We're telling you, he's motioning. If you don't follow him, we're throwing it to him. They threw it to him 21 times. It was just like basic alpha football. I enjoyed it very much.
Speaking of trying to be alpha football, but not, Arthur Smith. I just have to touch on the Steelers game again. He should never coach, call a play, or anything in the NFL ever again.
No.
The amount of, like, he's committed to the run like I've never seen before. Like 3rd and 9, and he's running a sweep to Najee Harris. Like, thank you. But what are we doing?
He is a high school level coach. Like, I'm sorry, but
middle school.
Yeah. It's like the stuff you see because, like, you know, like in high school, they don't have like strong developed arms yet. So sometimes you have to run it on 3rd and longs because it's a better option than traditional football throwing it on 3rd and long. That's how he runs it in the NFL. Which is ironic because he wouldn't hand it to Bijan
Robinson. Just makes no sense.
Man. But hey, that was a really, really good win. All elements considered, because it's a good Pittsburgh defense as always on the road, last second. If they don't convert right there, especially at the fumble at the goal line, you're saying, all right, so now we're 2-3, and now we have to play the Lions, who we're talking about. Like, yeah, they play smash mouth old school football. And you're sitting there yourself like, our defensive line isn't really holding up as it is, and now we got to face the best of it is. So very clutch win on Sunday and Monday night.
And for Dak, exactly. And for Dak to literally go from the scapegoat to the hero, basically, for 2 reasons. One, falling on the fumble, and then also the touchdown pass. And it was funny too, because he went to Tolbert on 3rd down too, and I think he like skipped it and hit Tolbert in the nuts. And afterwards, like Tyler Smith was like, dude, he literally sprained his nut the play before and then still came back and caught the game winner. And it was great for a guy like Tolbert too, because I mean, I think I've been like a broken record for 3 years calling for him to step up and do something. Brandon Cook's out. We needed somebody, and he did step up. That was a very clutch play. Obviously in that kind of situation on the road in a hostile environment on Monday morning. Just, it was a phenomenal win. Another back-to-back ugly games, right? But I couldn't believe that Dallas, they put up, I think, 450 so yards on the Steelers. And I think they were like 95 yards more than any other team has put up on the Steelers defense yet this year. Even the Colts, who beat them handily the week before, I think only put up like 358. So it was impressive. Rico Dowdle stepped up. He led the way. He had that amazing catch in the end zone too. So, you know, things are kind of working a little bit. We got to see an offensive line that a lot of people called for early, Aiden, when Guyton went down, and they were like, all right, well, we got to put Tyler Smith at left tackle. And people have been saying to put Tyler Smith at left tackle for years. They put him out there. They put TJ Bassett at left guard, and on they went, and they looked pretty good. So I don't know if there's going to be a Wally Pippen happening. Probably not, because Guyton's your first-round pick, and Jerry Jones is saying he looks like he's going to be hopefully good to go against Detroit, so we'll see. But it was so many moving parts and injuries, too. This team just is getting ravished.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Marshawn Nealon, who we talked about last week, is a guy who could step up, and then he immediately goes out and gets injured, too. He was supposed to be stepping up for the other guys that were injured, and then he got injured. So what's the plan this week? Fully coming off the bye Lions.
So it looked like when it happened, I was like, oh, ACL, he's done. And it looked like on the field, too, they were doing the ACL testing. Came out, he didn't tear his ACL, but he did have a tear of his lateral meniscus. So they're saying 4 to 6 weeks. I'm leaning probably more 6 to 8, probably. They did put him on IR. They are elevating Carl Lawson to the 53 active roster from the practice squad. So it's going to be guys like Carl Lawson, Chauncey Golston, Tyrus Wheat, who stepped up and did have a good game this past week on the edges. And they're just going to have to piecemeal it together until Micah hopefully is back for the 49ers game after the bye. Tank a little bit more down the road, I think. So they're just going to literally have to piece it together and hope also guys in the interior like Osa, who had a monster game against the Steelers, can step up a little bit as well. It's going to be tough against that Lions front. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, I don't think we had him on our defensive player of the year. Now, I had TJ Watt, so I'm not totally out of the running yet. Aiden Hutchinson is having the breakout year that the Lions fans have been hoping for.
Wild. He's looking like the first round pick now, the first overall pick. Yep. So, we'll see, but a good injury report coming from the defense is Deron Bland looks like he may be a go for this weekend at Detroit. They did open his practice window today. Stephen Jones said it looks like he's going to be able to go, even if it's in quote unquote a limited fashion. I don't know about Carson, the rookie, but hopefully they're going to be getting more healthy on the back end. We saw Jordan Lewis just abusing Pickens all game, which was awesome. And then he walked off the field afterwards just saying, Pittsburgh needs a receiver. George Pickens weak. And I'm like, okay. So, the corner stepped up against Pittsburgh, but stepping up against the Pittsburgh receivers and then stepping up against Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown and everything, the firepower that the Lions have is going to be a little bit different, Aiden.
Amon-Ra is, how do I put this nicely? A much more refined route runner than what the Steelers have to offer.
Yes.
Also, Jameson Williams, this game is at home for the Cowboys, correct? After back-to-back on the road against the Giants and the Steelers?
It's in Detroit.
You guys play 3 straight road games?
Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on.
I was going to say.
Hold on.
I thought this was a surefire Cowboys.
Oh, no, it is. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's home. It's in Dallas. Yeah. And Detroit's a 3-point favorite on the road.
That checks out. I'm a little worried. I think there's going to be an overemphasis on stopping the run with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. This feels like a game where Jameson Williams uncorks one for a 60-yard touchdown.
You mean like Shaheen did for the Saints?
Correct.
Yep. Me too. And something that needs to be spoken about, right? I mean, I'm not always like a big proponent of revenge games and everything, but the Lions are going to be out for blood in this game after what happened last season.
Yeah.
You
know what they're going to do near the goal line, right? Like that guy is reporting on Taylor Decker is going to report. If they get within the 2-yard line, he's reporting every play.
Yes. And he's going to like hold up a sign or something as he runs onto the field. I am reporting.
They've got a celebration plan in the end zone for it. Like, they have the full 9 yards coming.
I think this is the week that Dan Campbell's all week. Like he is going to be, I think he's going to bring in a cadaver from like a Detroit hospital and literally eat the kneecaps off a cadaver in the locker room prior to the game. Because
this just kind of feels,
it feels like they're going to come in and try and beat the shit out of the Dallas Cowboys.
I agree. But it's kind of how you beat them though.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to.
Just kind of, I think it's similar to that Rams game. We're like, we know we can lean on you because you're a little bit lean up front right now. Granted, they thought they played a little bit better, especially against the Steelers. But it just feels like they're like, we know we can lean on you. We're going to tell you it's coming. And we just want to aggressively beat you.
Yep. And, Dallas is, coming off, I guess, kind of a short week now since they didn't land until I think it was like 5 a.m. On Monday. But still, I mean, hey, you go out sometimes and don't get home till 3 a.m. and you got to be at work at 8 a.m. So come on, guys, step it up. You're playing a week later. But I don't know. I don't have good feelings about this game at all. I did think, I said it last week, that I didn't love playing the Steelers on the road, but I felt like it was a winnable game, which it turned out to be. And I think the Steelers actually got lucky that it was as close as it was. I mean, Dallas shot themselves in the foot. The 2 turnovers by Dak, 1 in the end zone. They had the field goal block. Dallas should have been up big. It should have never come down to the final play of the game. This one, I don't see it for all of the factors. The way the Lions have been playing, like you said, the way that they can play offense almost in two different ways, right? They can beat the living hell out of you and run it down your throat, which Dallas is not good against. And then they have a speedster like Jameis Williams who can just take the top off, which we've also seen against this Dallas defense is a detriment to them when it comes to the communication. So that scares me. The revenge factor scares me. Dallas coming off this big high of a last second win scares me. Are they smelling themselves now a little bit? They haven't played well at home this year either. 0-2 at home. So and then they're heading into their bye. It's a perfect storm of an avalanche of a poop sandwich all together that I'm not gonna enjoy, I don't think. And is Brady on the call again? Probably. It's
he has
Fox
to be.
so that's just not good either.
Also, more nonsense as an old white boomer like myself. The NFC plays on Fox. The AFC plays on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
When did we change this? Because it's confusing my tiny little brain.
Yep.
And I don't like it.
It's just like the SEC now. I'm like, wait, it's
the
3
SEC
o'clock on Saturday. I should be hearing the music on CBS. I should not be watching Illinois and Northwestern on CBS at 3 o'clock.
Ohio State, Iowa's playing on CBS at 3:30.
Yep.
Where's Alabama? Where is Alabama? Where are they?
SEC network, I guess.
Blowing their mouth guard because they lost to Vanderbilt. What is happening to this world?
Yep.
God, we need the presidential candidates to address this.
Yes. We don't need to be hearing about trade embargoes and dock workers that only were on strike for 12 hours and everyone bought all the toilet paper at Costco. Like, okay,
yeah,
we have bigger problems. Okay,
you want tariffs? Put tariffs on CBS for taking the NFC games.
College football players are imaginarily shooting other players in the back. Address this. Okay?
Insane.
There's hurricanes happening. We know, and all seriousness, prayers to everyone in Florida and everything, because this doesn't look good.
One. Yeah,
terrifying actually.
It is. That's also fascinating. I don't know. I know nothing about meteorology. I'm barely qualified to talk about football. Everything I read about it seems like this will be an insane hurricane, but it's so captivating because I'm like learning on the fly about these weather patterns. Crazy stuff. So that one.
Did you hear the one sheriff in Florida was like, if you're planning on not evacuating, you should be writing your name in Sharpie on your leg.
Yes. But yeah, they can't. There's like, I was reading about these islands, like the water is going to encapsule the bridges, so they can't get to the islands to help. Like there's going to be no emergency services that can get through this water to get to you.
I don't understand. Like I get it. Trust me. I own my home. I love my home and everything, but like I'm leaving.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Like, yeah, I'm leaving, especially because you had time this time.
Yeah. It's been like 2 weeks. So like, listen, guys, it's going to be really bad. So the roads are open. And then there's
I read today they got another one coming. You might not want to move. You might want to just move. Like, I don't know. That just doesn't feel sustainable getting hit with them once a week.
No.
You're right. I would leave.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So yeah, prayers to everybody down there. But
that was a serious one.
I also think there's going to be a hurricane coming through AT&T Stadium, coming down from Detroit too.
Twister.
So,
tornado territory.
Yeah, that's So I just think the Lions are playing good ball. They have momentum. They also have the anger, the desire, and the will to beat the Cowboys, and they have the ability to beat the Cowboys defense, due to them what they're not good at. And then also I'm terrified of Aiden Hutchinson, like you said before. I don't know how Dak stays healthy. If they put him up against Terrence Steele, we got a problem. If they put him up against Guyton, it's going to be a problem /4 holding penalties. So
they move him around a little bit too. I love seeing that.
Yep.
It's like The Office. He's like, I love inside jokes. I hope to be a part of one day. That's how I feel. I love when the defensive ends change places. I hope to have one day.
I see this being like a 31-24, 34-24 type game. Detroit wins.
I think it's all-time shootout. Listen, we talked about it. One of the things that bothers me about the Cowboys, they get a lot of spotlight when it's not always deserved. It is well deserved this week. I think this is going to be a great prime time 4:30 game between them and the Lions. All the storylines, I think it's going to be a lot of points. I think this is like what fun football is all about with this one. So I'm very excited for it. I think the Lions fantasy football has kind of, rotted our brain to a point that isn't always necessarily real football.
Not me anymore.
Yeah, not you.
Second year.
Clean. You're clean. Clean and sober.
I am 2 years sober. I should get like a chip.
Yeah, 2 years. I made it 2 years. Yeah, we should give you a little chip. Clean and sober from fantasy football. I think the Lions are like the team that carries over from fantasy football to real life in like a perfect form. They have completely and masterfully created balance in their offense. The last time we saw this offense, Jared Goff was perfect. He was 18 for 18, 19 for 19. And oh, by the way, they had like 200 yards rushing too between two running backs. And when you watch them play, it's not like, oh, he takes 2 plays and then they do like a breather. They go full series. Like it's like soothing on your brain to watch them run on offense because it's like 2nd and 4 with David Montgomery. He takes the first series. They go down and score. They come back, second series. They hand it off to Jahmyr Gibbs. He gets 6 yards. They run play action. They hit Sam Laporta over the middle. Oh, now you're starting to lean down because you're worried about the run. Guess what happens? And Jameson Williams takes off. Like they have the ultimate balance in their offense. Oh, yeah. It is so fun to watch. And oh, by the way, even if you think they stopped them, then they go for it on every single 4th down. And the off chance that you do get the chance to stop them, they just go for it anyways.
Yep.
Like they're just the perfect balance of football. If you're a football fan, it's soothing on your brain it's like the Calm app, but for football is the Lions offense.
I don't think I'm going to be too calm though watching this game against them
unless you're
Sunday.
playing them, in which case it's not that fun.
You know what else isn't fun? Probably being a Browns fan right now.
Dude, it's bad.
Can you imagine giving someone that amount of money and then them doing this?
Well, kind of.
And all of the picks and then seeing Houston.
It's so bad. It is so bad. It is bad enough to the point I know what the contract is. I know what they gave up. It is an anchor of an investment. But getting into this game, Eagles-Browns in Philly on Sunday, if they come out and it's Eagles 17-3 at half, I know what the investment is. I just don't think there's any way they can't go to Jameis Winston. They got
to do something.
They have to do something because you're playing Deshaun at this point because of what you've invested in him, and that saves maybe the GM's job. If you're like the coaching staff and some of the players, you got to start thinking about your job. Like this is a lifeless team that has looked bottom of the barrel offense where they can't run the ball. They don't have Nick Chubb. The offensive line really isn't setting. They drop the ball constantly. It's not just Watson. The offense as a whole has looked like an absolute corpse of themselves from years prior when they were pretty good. Man, you have to go to Jameis if this kid's ugly. So I'm fully prepared to see Jameis on the field at Lincoln Financial Field.
For the fans too, right? You got to do a little something to kind of give them hope.
And I think you've lost them. Like, I think they've lost the Browns fans. They're obviously not going to make the playoffs this year. They are really like, man, for every complaint you have about like one of our teams, it's times 10 in Cleveland right now. If you have questions about our quarterbacks, they have times 100. If you have questions about offensive line, they have it times 10. Myles Garrett's has both feet hurt, so he's been banged up. It's just bad all the way around. And I think, like you said, they got to do something. I think they've already lost the fan base because even if Winston starts, they're still stuck to that Watson contract. But wow. I mean, just wow.
And I think the worst thing possible for a team like that is to have to travel to Philadelphia, to the Link, where fans have been waiting 2 weeks because the team is on a bye. The team is getting is off a bye.
Yep.
Healthier. And the fans in the stands are either going to be extremely drunk, rowdy, and angry because the Phillies are out of the playoffs, or continuing the party because the Phillies have moved on and they just want to bear down on the Browns too. It is a lose-lose situation right now for the Browns.
It's not a good situation to be in, but it is kind of funny how the sports transcend each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's an all-time party if the Phillies pull off this comeback and the Eagles are playing. Because then, like you said, we needed a week off. I think the fans mentally needed a week off from the Eagles, and we all rarely do you get all fans in agreement, but everyone was like, listen,
go
take
away.
the bye week, get yourselves right, get yourselves healthy, and let's come out of it and let's take a look at a few things. Mm-hmm. And they're doing that. So one, Cooper DeJean is going to start in the slot. You touched on this
that last week.
I was going to say it is time. This is the perfect time though, right? Like he's been here a month. He was hurt in training camp. He's seen it. They played a month. They got a bye. He's in. Sidney Brown, they opened the practice window. He might play this week. I love him. I'm still so high. I have so much stock in Sidney Brown. I want to see him get on the field. And Jalix Hunt is a guy who you're probably going to see his snap total increase. And hey, why not? You're getting nothing out of your defensive ends. So try him. And he had some good snaps against Tampa. So you kind of just feel refreshed as a fan that you're seeing some guys that you have some hope for. Even Jeremiah Trotter Jr. might get to play. And that's all on the defensive side of the ball. So you're feeling like there's no better feeling as a fan when there's somebody young and you watch him, you're like, yo, we might have one. We might have one. And right now it's feeling like that with Quignon, but now you have a few other opportunities like that with these four guys and with these four young guys, Cooper DeJean, Sidney Brown, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Jalix Hunt, who are going to be on the field against an offense that has, to say struggled is the understatement of the century, but it's a good point to see what you have in them and see if you're going to get that feeling from them where you're saying, damn, we might have one.
And it's the perfect time to do it coming after a bye at home too. You know what I mean? Like,
this is perfect.
Extra weeks to prepare. They're also, let's say, going against like Cooper DeJean is going against a lameless offense. Hopefully he can get some good reps early, feel good about himself, and let the momentum carry on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I touched on this as doom and gloom as it was after the Bucks. Like that was a miserable watching experience. It looked miserable there, how hot it was. But they had the bye week. Their October goes bye week, 4 teams with losing records, and your offense getting healthy. Like this is a good stretch. All right. Like this can really steady the tide for you and get the ship back on track.
I have 68 and sunny on Sunday.
Oh man, it is beautiful. There's not a cloud in the sky at this time. Great flight tracking weather. I'll tell you that right now. That's how I spend my time.
Tomorrow's a high of 62, Aiden. It's going to be a little chilly tomorrow.
Crispy.
Ooh. And then, 68 and sunny Sunday for the game. And then sunny next week. These are the highs, Aiden. 60, 57, 57, 59, and 66.
I like it in the 60s.
That's a little bump it back a little bit.
Chill in the air. Get
Not ready for that yet. Not ready for those temps yet.
I don't love that because that means the low is like 47 in the morning.
So I think everything embodying the loss, the bye week, the health, the new guys, the team that's coming in, playing at home. Like it's just if the perfect storm is rolling to Dallas the bad way right now, I think it's the opposite for Philadelphia this week.
It really is. It really is. Like it's beautiful weather. It's just I feel so refreshed and reset with that team. The first 3 and out, I might have a brain aneurysm, but that's such is life. But to be fair, like you said, with all these kind of like the perfect calmness instead of storm coming to Philadelphia, the storm has been like the offense isn't what you expected from Kellen Moore and the lack of motion. And you're saying this looks like a lot of this Sirianni sickness that has plagued them. But if you think about it, this has gone well before Sirianni. Like when Lane Johnson's not out there, it doesn't look like a functional offense. Well, they get him back. And it wasn't just him. Like they were down Mekhi Becton in the Saints game too. So how much of that was Kellen Moore? And how much of that was just that they were trying to plug holes for 2 weeks and just kind of get through the game plan and get through the game without losing any more guys and playing some reserves in key positions. And now you'll get to see that against the Browns. I think this is the week where you're like, okay, now I feel all right. Like I'm seeing Devontae Smith making some catches. I'm seeing them pave some holes for Saquon Barkley. I'm seeing Devontae, as I just mentioned, in motion. They're running screens with Dallas Goedert. This is the week you start to be like, okay, that's more of what I expected in July.
Yep. This is the team that everybody had seen on paper and had hoped for in the preseason. And I think it's you need the catapult to start here because, like you said, they have the easiest schedule coming out of the bye now of any team in the NFL. Take advantage of it. Because I mean, we'll see. I think Dallas will probably have another loss going to the bye. Yes, the Giants, it was an impressive win in Seattle. Washington just keeps finding ways to win, but I still, again, don't believe in that defense. I think they're going to come back down to earth. It's still extremely early in the season, but this is still such a winnable division for the Philadelphia Eagles.
It really is. Can you rise above? Are you like a phoenix? Can you rise from the ashes? Or do you want to remain in the ashes with the Jaguars and the Browns and these 1-4 teams? Do you want to stay there? Or you want to rise above the ashes? And I think they will. A few predictions for the game. One, I think you'll get I think they're going to try the home run threat to AJ Brown. Maybe not at first. I think like third quarter, play it a little conservative. Make sure the boys are all right. Making sure they're looking healthy through the first few quarters. Then you take that deep shot to AJ third quarter. Bang, touchdown. Welcome back, touchdown. So I like that one. The one fear I have in this game, and I touched on this in the intro, you could get up by a lot and start to coast.
Yep.
They bring in Jameis, and they go balls to the wall. We have nothing to play for. We're just going to let him eat the W and sling it around and see what happens. Yep. And over a 17-game period, probably not sustainable. For one half against the Eagles, probably very sustainable. And you could see him throwing it every which way, making no sense, and throwing it 30 times and having some success and seeing them gain momentum after you've taken your foot off the pedal. That is my fear in this game. It's the one where I think the Browns can win. Aside from that, I'm so hopeful. I want to see some flashes from these young guys, including the 4 I mentioned in Jalen Carter. And then on offense, run your offense and be you. And I think this is a game you could see 27, 30 points on the board at the end of the day.
And don't let Amari Cooper get hot because you Eagles fans have seen what he can do.
I told you last week I want them to trade for him, right?
Yeah. You said, why not?
Why not?
Amari Cooper for Dotson, straight up. Who says no?
Who says no? They're like 2 losses away from trading him, right? If they're 1-6,
I mean, like you said too, they converted the salary. He's a very easily tradable player. I don't think he will be on the Browns in 4 weeks.
We can put this Jalen Hurts discussion to rest in 2 weeks' time. Get him Amari Cooper, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley.
If that doesn't work,
you're not an NFL quarterback. It's just that's it. That is the test.
Bring back Carson Wentz and see what he can do.
That's it.
It's a get right week.
This feels like a homecoming week in college football.
It does. Yep. I think I think the stands are they're not wearing any special. They're not wearing the green or anything. No, it's just straight up.
Okay. And that's the other thing in terms of like being refreshed. They're very under the radar. Like these are going to be 1:00 Fox game. You got a 1:00 at home standard game against the Browns. They'll have me and you commenting this game for Fox.
Yep. Which
actually, we might get Greg Olsen. So I'm not opposed to that.
I love Greg Olsen. I wish he was still the number one, but that's another story for another day. So I am in full agreement with you on what this week should be and probably will be for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm pretty confident, and which is famous last words as always. I have to preface that when I talk about the Eagles, but I think it has a lot more to do with the team they're playing and what fight are they going to have at this point versus a team who's coming off the bye and really looking to catapult their season. And I think they could. And I know the last thing on this, everyone outside of the locker room seems to hate Nick Sirianni and want to quit and be done with him. The players don't seem that way, right?
Yep.
So like if you're not me, but like Eagles fans kind of want to lay down with him. I don't think you're going to get that from the players. So when we're talking about fight in the Browns and fight in the Eagles, I think they're in a perfect, relaxed, refresh, reset mode.
Yep. On a completely different note, last week, if you tuned in here at Birds vs. Boys on our YouTube page or listened anywhere you listen to podcasts, we spoke about the players that we thought, or I'm sorry, the coaches we thought were probably in the top 5 hottest seats. We mentioned Sirianni, we mentioned McCarthy, we mentioned who else? Peterson, Mike McDaniel, and Brian Daboll. First coach has been fired.
We forgot one.
Not on the list.
Robert Saleh, come on down.
Bye-bye. Do you believe that Aaron Rodgers didn't know?
Yes.
I do too. Because I've seen a lot of back and forth on it. But does he just become Jackie Moon now and he's the coach too?
Probably. The conspiracy, I do believe, is that Woody Johnson was an ambassador to Ireland and England and wanted to showcase his team over in England. And then that first half was a train wreck on offense. Yep. And then he got mad and fired the coach. Which I do believe.
Yep. It's going to be interesting too. It's just, there were so many, like Greeny on ESPN was a big, like Super Bowl or bust for this team this year. And it's like, Aaron Rodgers, I think it's over.
It does look over. They have some surprising things with them now. Like their inability to run the ball. And now Breece Hall, who was so good last year without Aaron Rodgers, now like Braylon Allen looks better than him. And it's confusing. And
they have like 4 very, very good, should be very good running backs. I will take one. Whatever one you want to give. Dallas, I was screaming for them to draft Braylon Allen. And I tweeted this too. All of the rookie running backs have looked good. Bucky Irving looked good for Tampa.
Yeah.
Who's the Tank Bigsby looked good last week. Like all of them are doing things besides the one guy that they did want who's still on IR. And they did nothing. It's infuriating. But I'll take Breece Hall.
I'll take one. You're like, guess what? You could have taken one.
Yeah, we could have had them, but we have Rico Dowdle, Anumpa Lumpa, and Zeke Elliott.
In fairness, it seems like Rico Dowdle's taking over.
Yeah. Let's hope that continues. All right, Aiden, I want you to enjoy the weather. I want you to enjoy the Phillies, hopefully, on a 2-game win streak. Heading into, if they win the next 2, will they have a game prior to the Eagles game or no? In the next round, or it depends? No. Okay.
No.
Okay. So that'll be good then. That's perfect.
Listen, the timeline of events, it could really work out in our favor. I like it a lot.
And Dallas Cowboys are going to try and get a win at home against a team that is coming for blood. And
Yankees, Cowboys, the Phillies, Eagles, all of us, we're kind of circling up in the air right now.
Nope.
We're all looking to land smoothly, safely right now.
Amen. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Birds vs. Boys. I am Camus. That is Aiden. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, we are there. Google, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher. You can listen to full episodes. Right here, if you are watching on our YouTube page, you can get full episodes. You can get clips. Birds vs. Boys Pod. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. We are very hot on our social media right now. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Make sure you follow us there as well. Birds vs. Boys Pod. Shout out to producer Eddie for putting out some amazing content for us on TikTok. We're almost so close to 6,000 subscribers or followers, whatever they're called, TikTokers on TikTok. So thank you to all of you as well. We will be back next time. I will be back with an episode of a recap of the Cowboys game. Aiden, same thing with the Eagles on Sunday. And then we will catch you next week with a full episode. Enjoy the weather. October's fully here. Go apple picking. Go pumpkin picking. Watch baseball. Watch football. Just such a great time of year. Nothing.
Enjoy some coffee. Definitely not caffeine pills.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.